Okay, so Baruch Hashem, we have another opportunity to, as Hashem, learn from the Tzurba Rabbanon. We're holding in the middle of Hilchot Birkat Hamazon, a little scheduling notice. The week before Tisha B'Av, we'll break away from Hilchot of Birkat Hamazon or whatever Hilchot we're going into next. Well, the week before, we'll do Hilchot Tisha B'Av. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, today we are continuing in Hilchot Birkat Hamazon. And last week we saw about the din of Birkat Hamazon. We saw that if it's a kazayit, then it's the Rabbanon. If you ate until you were full, it's the Oraita, a woman's obligation. We're not entirely sure. Maybe it's the Oraita, maybe it's Rabbanon. We saw the difference if it's the Rabbanon and the Oraita. If you're not sure if you benched already, if it's the Oraita, then you have to bench again, except for the fourth bracha, says Chamabadia. And if it is not the Oraita, then Safek Brachot Lahakel, and you're not going to bench again, right? So all that played into effect. Now the question is, until when may one recite Birkat Hamazon? Sometimes it happens, we're eating a meal, especially during the week, and we said Bracha Hamotzi, we ate a kazayit within 7.5 minutes, right? Remember, we have to eat a kazayit within 7.5 minutes to be chayim in Birkat Hamazon. So you did everything, you ate until you were full, and then you walked away from the table. Someone called you, one of the kids needed you upstairs, whatever the story was. You come back down, and it's, let's say, an hour, even 2, even 3 hours later. Can you still say Birkat Hamazon or not? That is the question. So says the Gemara in Masechet Brachot. We're on source 31 on page 140. Until when can you say Birkat Hamazon? So says the Gemara. If I'm reading this right, Ad Kidei Sheit Akel Hamazon Shebemav, right? Sheit Akel. That means until it's digested in his intestines. That means there's a digestion that's happening while you're eating it. So until it's still in your stomach somewhere, you can say Birkat Hamazon. That's the Mishnah's answer. So now the Gemara asks the question: Kama Shir equal? What is this digestion period? This equal period. What is this digestion period? How long is this? So how exactly you learn the machloket now? Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish is the machloket Rashi Tosfot. We're going to learn like Rashi right now. Rabbi Yochanan calls man she'eino rav. As long as he is not hungry, I'm still full from my previous meal. As long as I'm still full from my previous meal, I can still say Birkat Hamazon. Says Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish Amar. Reish Lakish says, calls man shitzameh mahmat achilato, as long as he is still thirsty from his eating. Okay, so Reish Lakish says, as long as he's still thirsty from his eating, he can stay still Birkat Hamazon. Yochanan says, as long as you still feel full. Amar le Rav Yemar bar Shleim lemar Zutra. Amar le Rav Yemar bar Shizbi lemar Zutra. Me Amar Reish Lakish. The Reish Lakish give this answer until you're still thirsty from your food. Amar Rav Ami, Amar Reish Lakish, Kamashir equal. What is this digestion period? Says Reish Lakish, Kidei lahalech arba milin. What it takes to walk arba milin, which we say a mil is about 18 minutes. So arba milin is going to be 4 times 18 and 72. Right? So Gemara says, like kasha, it's not a question. Kan ba'achil maruba, kan ba'achil mu'eted. So in Reish Lakish, so Rashi's learning, in Reish Lakish is saying, it depends what he ate. If he ate a lot, imachil maruba, so then as long as he's still thirsty from his food, he's good. If he ate a little bit, kan ba'achil mu'eted, Reish Lakish's answer was, as long as he's still thirsty from his food. Rabbi Yochanan's answer was as long as you're still full and you're not hungry. So, it means that you still feel that you ate. But it's he's thirsty from his food. There's like sometimes you want to drink after you ate and you still have that like feeling. It's not as man. It's not really as man. He's just giving some sort of effect that happens after you eat. Right. Similar. It seems to be similar. Tosfot seems to be saying that they're not arguing in that point. All right. You're learning like Tosfot. But right now, Rashi's saying Reish Lakish is differentiating whether you ate a full meal or a partial meal. If you ate a full meal, then you have a longer time. And if you ate a smaller meal, then you have 72 minutes. All right, the Arba Milan. That seems to be the machloket right now. So let's take a look. What do we hold? What is the halachot of the Rishonim based on the Gemara? So we're going to bring a Rabbeinu Yonah al Harif, and the Rabbeinu Yonah al Harif says as follows: Calls man shein rav machas achila. He's passing like Rav Yochanan, right? Avol misha'ashem etchil liot ra'av afapi shalom nitakel adayin legamrei kimin shemetchil nitakel kamosh nitakel legamrei dinon lei vein marach alav acharke. So says Rabbeinu Yonah in the Rif, what do they say? That, like Rav Yochanan, as long as you're still full, you can say Birkat Hamazon. But once you feel hungry a little bit, even though the food is still in your intestines, even though the food is still in your stomach, you can no longer say Birkat Hamazon. Why? Because you're feeling hungry. So the digestion part is one thing, but it really depends if you're feeling hungry or not. That's Rav Yochanan, that's Rabbeinu Yonah, that's the Rif. What does the Shulchan Aruch say? So source 33, Shulchan Aruch says, Ad emotai yochal levarech. Until how long can you say Birkat Hamazon? Ad shit akel hamazon shebeimav. As long as the food has not completely digested in his stomach. Now, what is the shear? That was the Mishnah. Mishnah said as long as it's still in your stomach. So, calls man she'enu ra'av machmas osa achila. As long as he's still not hungry from that meal. That is as long as you have. And once you start to feel hungry, and it's not yet digested, we hold that it's considered already completely disintegrated and is ready digested, and you can no longer say Birkat Hamazon. So halacha from the Shulchan Aruch up until this point is what? Hungry or not hungry anymore after you ate? If you still feel full, you can say Birkat Hamazon. If you don't feel full, then you can't say Birkat Hamazon. Obviously, we're talking about a meal that you felt full from. Okay, because sometimes you can say Birkat Hamazon from a kazayit. We're not dealing with that right now. Right now, we're dealing with you ate a meal. And it was a doraita meal. Okay, you feel full. And now I didn't say Birkat Hamazon. How long I have? As long as I still feel full from it. Vadia and his children. Very good. So the time limit. So he brings over here, we're going to see a little further in the Tzurba. But for right now, I want to just read here straight from the Yalkut Joseph. As long as you still don't feel hungry. And then he brings in over here, as long as 6 hours have not passed. That's the time limit. As long, in this book, 217 in the Yalkut Joseph, page 217, halacha 15, he says over here, as long as 6 hours have not passed from the meal. Where does he get the 6 hours thing? So if you take a look at the bottom of the footnote, 224, he brings from the halachot kitanot, he brings over here, the average time for digestion is 6 hours, right? That's why we say after you eat meat, how long you have to wait to eat dairy? You have to wait 6. What shot in 6? Because that's the digestion period. So he says, based on that, your max time to say Birkat Hamazon, still feeling full, is 6. Yes. So therefore, even if you feel full after 6 hours, you can no longer say Birkat Hamazon, says the Yalkut Yosef. Because 6 hours, that's when it's gone. The digestion is over at 6 hours. Okay? Halachic digestion is over in 6 hours. Okay? So far, so good. Fine. Now, let's see. So this is another din. Okay. Magen Avram. He writes over here as follows. It's something that still happens today. Ufsu'udot gedolot lupamim yoshvim dalid reheishaot kodem shemivarchin. Okay, so mivarchin means Birkat Hamazon here. So the guy comes to a wedding. So what happens? You come to a wedding, and you sit down, you eat bread, you ate a kazayit within 7.5 minutes. So now you're chayiv in Birkat Hamazon. And now you're getting up, dancing, coming back, this and that. So what do? Can you still make it back to Hamazon? I finished my bread a long time ago. And okay, Rashi does not write according to Rashi. You should really say Birkat Hamazon right away. And he's eating the appetizers and he's drinking. It's like if he still didn't digest everything. So interestingly enough, take a look at the Alka Joseph in the English edition, page 217, right, the footnote, right side, last paragraph. Lengthy banquet meals. And he gets a little bit more into it over here. He says in the Mishnah Brura, someone will finish a meal and turn to another activity, intending not to eat anymore. Okay, it's a little different from the case we just mentioned. So he's at the wedding, he ate his meal, and then he's the photographer. So he said, I'm done eating, I'm going to be able to take pictures now. Okay, now, and he continued to eat cookies and went down for some time. Suddenly he remembered he didn't say Birkat Hamazon. He does not feel at all hungry now, but he figured it's because of the cookies, and it's not because of the bread he ate earlier. And he decided he no longer wanted to eat. He ate the bread, said, I'm done eating. Then he got up and he started doing his job, but he was snacking on cookies. So can he make Birkat Hamazon? He's still full. In this case, the Mishnah Brura said he may not recite Birkat Hamazon since his meal was already digested. It means a couple of hours later. It's more than 72 minutes, let's say. More than 72 minutes. It's like an hour, 2 hours later, he remembers. He said at this point, his meal was already done. It's already done. His lack of hunger is only because of his cookies he ate afterward. Okay? So therefore, it seems to be, this is a ruling case because the person had specifically decided he finished his meal, and he would have been hungry if he did not eat the cookies. Okay? So let's get this case straight. Case is, I ate bread, I'm done eating, I get up, I don't say Birkat Hamazon. Then I start to eat cookies. 3 hours later, I remember I didn't say Birkat Hamazon. I'm not hungry now. But I'm not hungry, not because I ate bread back then. I would be hungry if I just ate the bread. But I've been eating cookies since then. And that's why I'm not hungry now. So therefore, Mishnah Brura says, you cannot say Birkat Hamazon because you would have been hungry if you didn't eat those cookies. Therefore, your Birkat Hamazon is out the window. But then he brings another case, in the middle of that second paragraph on page 218 on the bottom. In a case where someone ate a meal and then continued sitting at the table, occasionally snacking as he passed the time, he may recite Birkat Hamazon even many hours later. He's at the party for 10 hours straight. He can say Birkat Hamazon. Why? Because he didn't end his su'udah. He didn't say I'm over, right? They got like the other case and go do something else. He was sitting there the whole time and he was snacking. It's viewed as he never finished his meal. Okay? So if you had a long meal, and it happens sometimes. I've been at a 6-hour meal. It happens in the house. You have a 6-hour meal. Right? You just go for 6 hours straight. It's possible. Yeah, you can't say Birkat Hamazon because he would have been hungry from the bread, if not that he ate the cookies afterwards. Because no, he would have been hungry. He didn't eat enough to be full. The only time you have 6 hours if you still feel full. He's full because of the cookies, not because of the bread. He said, I'm done eating. And then he's eating cookies. So it's nothing to do with the meal. Since it's nothing to do with the meal, he can't say Birkat Hamazon. So it all depends. This case, snacking after you ate your meal, if you stopped your meal or not. No, it's not. He said, I'm done eating. The case said, I'm done eating. I'm going to take pictures now. I'm done. And now he ate cookies. And now he's full. And now he remembers in the bench. Since he said, I'm done eating, and he would not have been full now. He would still not be full from the time he ate till now. He's only full because of the cookies. He can't say Birkat Hamazon.
I'm done. If he didn't say I'm
right.
done,
Right.
Even the kavanah hears I'm done. He's done.
Right.
No, he's not.
He has kavanah.
Even kavanah.
His thing is
Say it
Say
intending not to eat anymore. He had kavanah not to eat anymore. I'm done eating.
I'm done. That's all. I'm full.
Then for 2 hours, this is something like
Awesome. So that has nothing to do with that. Therefore, if you're full now, it's not related to that. Okay, I don't want to make it more complicated than it is. It's simple as it is. If you finish your meal and you didn't bench, and then you ate something else, that eating is what's making you full now, not the original eating. You can't say Birkat Hamazon. But if I'm sitting and I'm still eating and I'm snacking, and it's 2 hours and I ate snack again, but I never legally halachically finished my meal, I could say Birkat Hamazon because all that eating is considered part of the original meal. I can still say Birkat Hamazon even if it's 10 hours later. He said over here, what can be considered the meal ended? He writes in the bottom paragraph on the left, if the people remove the table or tablecloth, then any desserts eaten afterward are not considered part of the meal. Right. Or the table or the tablecloth. So I'm thinking more of a wedding. They bring out the Viennese table, right? They bring out the desserts now. Right? So now you're going to a different table. Okay. So if you bring your dessert back, to the table, perhaps you're continuing your meal. You just went to pick it up. But if you're going to another table and they're starting to clean your table, so then it looks like your meal is over. So, but at that point, the Birkat Hamazon is already around the corner. It's not that long after that, so that'll be okay. But that's the idea. Yeah, Shabbos you have guests. So on Shabbat, you should not be having a sweep table until you make Birkat Hamazon anyway, right? So that's it. So there's nothing to talk about. But people who don't do that, they don't know what they're doing. You have to tell them, make Birkat Hamazon first, and then eat your desserts. You got all problems. Okay, fine. Moving on in the Tzurba. What about, this is all talking about that I ate and I'm full.
What page?
We're on page 142. Okay. I ate a kazayit, or a little more than a kazayit. I was never full in the first place. So until when can I say Birkat Hamazon? You told me if I'm full, I can say it up until 6 hours as long as I still feel full. I wasn't full at all. All what I had was a little bit of bread, a kazayit of bread. So let's see the halacha. So say for Avud Raham. By the way, anyone know why he's called Avud Raham? What does Avud Raham mean, or Avod Raham? What does that mean? Abba, father. Draham, what's a draham? It's a weight. Very good. No, what's the story?
Wait.
You don't know the story? Raham, drahams. These are a weight. It's like each draham is 3 grams.
Oh yeah, money.
Yeah. So what's the story? He was called Avud Raham, the father of the measure. Why? He sold things by measure, but he was very medactic not to steal. So he always, if you ordered 9 drahams, let's say, he gave you 10. He was always add. So this way he never cheated you. One time it happened, an Arab came to him to buy something. I don't remember what he was selling. But the Arab came to buy something from him, and he sold it to him, and he gave him extra. But then the Avud Raham thought maybe I didn't count right. So he came out with like another whole measure, and he came running after the Arab. He said, "I think I didn't give you enough. I'm giving you a little more." And the Arab said, "You already gave me more when I was in the store. Already, you gave me more." So he said, "Wow, you're such a tzaddik that you're not trying to cheat people." So this Arab became a ger, and because of that, he got the name Avud Raham. He became the father of the Draham because he was megayer someone through his actions of being very careful in weight. That's the Rishon who wrote a famous pirush on the Siddur, right? Avud Raham. So what does he say? So how long can he bench? Right? As long as the food is still digesting in his stomach. Now he writes, and if it's a small meal, arba milin. So then you have the 72 minutes. That's the Avud Raham. So he says the 72 minutes is when you're having a small meal. The Magin Avram, on the other hand, he follows Rav Yochanan, and he says as follows: they don't argue. between a little or a lot. And the distinction is like Rav Yochanan, that as long as you're still full from that meal, I wasn't full at all. I guess whatever you got satiated, as long as you feel that satiation, you can still say it. This all ties into the way Rav Tzion was learning the Gemara before, like Tosfot, is the Machloket, Reish Lakish, and Rav Yochanan completely, or they're only arguing in Achil Moetet, and that's the argument. So Mogen Avram says that they don't argue at all. That we pass like Rav Yochanan and not Reish Lakish. Should argue Rav Yochanan in every case, and we pass like Rav Yochanan. You have until the time that you've eaten. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Katva Harba Achronim, right to many Achronim, that we estimate by the amount of time it takes to walk 4 mil, which is 72 minutes. Until that time, he is obligated to separate Mazon, as the food has certainly not been digested, even a small meal, in such a short time period. So 72 minutes, that's where it comes, because even if you eat a small meal, it's still in you for 72 minutes, apparently. That's what the Mishnah Berurah wants to say. You turn the Alka Joseph that you have in front of you to page 218, on Halacha 16. So he writes over here, if someone does not have enough bread or other food to satisfy his hunger, it's nearly impossible to define the time limit for reciting Birkat Hamazon. He's already hungry when he finishes eating. How does he decide when he should become hungry again? Right? How do you do Rabbi Yochanan in this case? Rabbi Yochanan says, as long as you're still full, right? But I'm hungry when I finished. In such a case, it's important to recite Birkat Hamazon as soon as one finishes eating, says the Alka Joseph. Not 72 minutes. As soon as one finishes eating, you should say Birkat Hamazon. If someone postponed reciting it for some time, he should find another kazayit of bread. Because you're not full. How are you saying it so long after? You have to say it right away. Eat him, then recite Birkat Hamazon. However, if there is no bread available, then you can rely on those poskim like the Mishnah Berurah, like the Magen Avraham, that says you have 72 minutes from the moment one finishes eating even a small meal. So the 72 minutes for us is not a lechatchila, even when eating a small meal. A lechatchila, in ab initio, the first instance, when eating a small meal, miyad, right away you say Birkat Hamazon, because you were never full. The only time you have time to say it afterwards is if you're full, and you're not full by a small meal, you have to say it right away. If you forgot, so bidi avad, you can say it up to 72 minutes. That's during the Alka Joseph Paskins over here. The Zota Bracha, so he brings down some guidelines. Not all of them do we go with, but let's see. Achol Achasava, if one was satisfied, he said Birkat Hamazon within 72 minutes. We don't pass like that. We say, that's like the Shulchan Aruch. No, if you're full meal.
Oh, full.
Until you still feel full, right? There's no minimum you have to say within 72 minutes. As long as you still feel full. It says because 72 minutes is definitely not going to be digested. As long as you still feel full, you can still bench. This we already know. If he delayed from the meal until he began to get hungry, even though he's not so hungry, as long as he begins to get a little hungry, he can no longer say Birkat Hamazon. All right, so if time passed, so it seems to be like this. According to Zot HaBracha, you always have 72 minutes to make a Birkat Hamazon. After that, it depends if you're full or not. Not so clear. Doesn't seem to be the way we're learning. And the Alka Joseph says you recite Birkat Hamazon as long as he's not yet digested the food he ate, which means as long as he's not become hungry once more, up until 6 hours. So according to the Alka Joseph, there is no 72 minimum when you're full. You can say it as long as you're full up until 6 hours. And then the Alka Joseph says that if you ate small, you should eat say Birkat Hamazon right away, and your max is 72 minutes. Yes, Malkiel.
Let's say 2 hours passed. Can I just have a piece of bread and that renews the 72 minutes?
In what
Adds
case?
72 minutes. Shabbat meal, we're eating,
What
singing.
you ate full? You're
Yeah, I ate full. Yeah, but then we
Okay.
stopped eating. And then
Okay.
already an hour passed, 2 hour passed, let's say it's a birthday or whatever. And then I want to eat a little bit more bread, because I know Birkat Amazon's not coming. Let's say I'm a guest. It's not in my control. So I just eat a little bit of bread, even less than a kazait maybe. Just a piece of bread. Does that renew the 72 minutes?
Not
that
according
add-
to Dr. Joseph. You don't need to even add to it. Because do you still feel full 2 hours later?
Maybe yes, maybe no. Probably full. Probably
If
still
you feel
full,
full, you can say Birkat Hamazon up until 6 hours. Once you ate a full meal and you feel full, and you still feel full up until 6 hours, you still feel full, you can make a Birkat Hamazon. You don't have to eat another piece of bread.
And if not, or it's a
If
doubt.
it's a meal that you're not full from, so then you only have up until 72 minutes to make Birkat Hamazon. Once 72 minutes ends, you can no longer say Birkat Hamazon.
If I eat a piece of bread, it's not gonna help.
So let's say, your question is as follows. I ate a small piece of bread, right? And now 60 minutes passed. And now I ate another small piece of bread. Do I have another 72 minutes or not?
Exactly.
One could say yes. If you ate another kazayit, right? Let's say you eat another kazayit. Because when you eat a kazayit, you're now chayv in Birkat Hamazon again, because you're eating another kazayit. So according to that shita, as you eat a kazayit, you have a maximum of 72 minutes. So you've now got another 72 minutes. Yeah.
No, thank you.
If you ate a kazayit of bread again.
Right. At least a kazayit.
Okay. We're gonna see. I think it's gonna come up more. If I'm right, if I'm right, this is the way it is. We'll see again. I believe it comes up again. Okay, fine. Halacha Brewer said everything we said about the 6 hours. That is there as well. Yashar Koach, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol yeh b'dvaro. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the dinim of Birkat Hamazon. I ate bread at home, and then I went to my job and I realized I didn't say Birkat Hamazon. What do I do at this point? I drove. I got somewhere else. I'm not where I ate anymore. Oh, very good. So Gabriel is going to already give us the sikum. He's going to give us the summary, but let us go step by step. We're up to source 40, to Merabbanan, page 144, Mesechet Brachot, Daf Nun Aleph, Amud Bet. Someone who ate, forgot, keyword, forgot, and didn't say Birkat Hamazon, he has to go back to his place and make Birkat Hamazon. That's Bet Shammai. Even if you forgot. You make Birkat Hamazon where you remembered. Okay? You make Birkat Hamazon where you remembered. So that's the Machok Bet Shammai Bet Hillel. If I forgot, what do I need to do? Bet Shammai says you have to go back. And the Gemara tells us the story, right? Somebody he left, he forgot, and he came back to Birkat Hamazon, and what did he find? No, what did he find? Not the son story. And what did he find? What did he find? Found money, a lot of money. Oh wow, full of money. He got rewarded for coming back for the Birkat Hamazon. And there's a story there. There's a story there that another student found the opinion of Bet Hillel, and he forgot, and he said Birkat Hamazon somewhere else, and a lion came and ate him. Even though halachas like Bet Hillel, you see, someone got punished for that. All right, this is in note 23. You can see it's the Gemara, Daf Nun Aleph. It continues over there.
Maybe he got punished for something else.
I don't know what happened at Birkat Hamazon. So Amar Zvid, look at the Gemara. Amar Zvid v'yitema Rab Dimi bar Abba machloket b'shochach. The machloket is only if he forgot. Aval b'mezid divrei hakol yachzor l'mekamoi v'varech. If he leaves on purpose, thinking I'm going to say Birkat Hamazon somewhere else, he must return to say Birkat Hamazon. It's only if you left by accident the Beit Hillel say that you can say Birkat Hamazon somewhere else. But if you left on purpose, knowing you can say Birkat Hamazon and you didn't, then you have to go back.
The rest and bread and go in the car.
That's different. That's you. If no, you're not doing Birkat Hamazon somewhere else. You washed, ate, and you're continuing your meal in the car. you on purpose become a traveler eater. We already dealt with that. You're allowed to do that. L'chatchila, you're allowed to do that. Here, it's not that. I ate at home. I sat, I ate everything, kaif. And now we got the mazon, I'll do it outside while I'm walking in. Now you can't do it. You have to go back home to do it. Okay, look at the Rambam, source 41. Shachach levarach berkat hamazon v'niskar koyim shit akel hamazon sheb'mav mevarach malkum sheniskar. Person ate, and he forgot to say berkat hamazon. He's on the road, and now he remembers, and he still feels full. He says the bracha where he remembers. So he's asking like Beit Hillel. If he did it on purpose, he has to go back to the place he was and make berkat hamazon. Now, let's say he left on purpose, and he doesn't go back, and he makes berkat hamazon where he is. I'm not going back. He's supposed to go back. He doesn't go back. No, that's not. No, I tell you something else. Tell his Zionist. He has to go out and say something. Here is, I don't want to go back. I'm doing it here. I don't care about the halacha. Vim birech, b'mocham sheniskar, yatsa yidei chovato. He is yatsa his obligation for berkat hamazon. He acted wrongly, but berkat hamazon is yatsa. V'chein im berech kishu oimed, or kishu mahalach yatsa yidei chovato. Same thing. If he's standing and saying berkat hamazon, which he's not supposed to, or he's walking and saying berkat hamazon, he's not supposed to, he's still yatsa yidei chovato. But initially, lo yivarech berkat hamazon. But initially, you should only say the grace after meals in the place that you ate. You should be sitting down, ideally. Okay, very good. That's the Rambam. The Rambam holds clearly like Beit Hillel, right? What about Rabbeinu Yonah? Take a look at Rabbeinu Yonah, source 42, another Rishon. And he says, "Inyan Piska Miktzat Tegonim, Rav Shmuel ben Chofni, Posku Halacha Kebet Shammai, Shafilu b'Sheichach Tzarich Lachzar Mikamul Levarich." Rabbeinu Yonah says that there are a group of Gaonim, and it's Rav Shmuel ben Chofni, who rule like Beit Shammai, that you must go back, even if you forgot, you must go back. And they want to say it's based on the Gemara stories that they say the man from Beit Hillel and got eaten by a lion, and the man who followed Beit Shammai and he got rewarded with a lot of money. So it must be the Gemara was bringing a proof that the halacha is like Beit Shammai. They want to say. So there's a Rabbeinu Yonah who holds like Beit Shammai. So let's take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. You would have to guess who does Shulchan Aruch go like, Rabbeinu Yonah or Rambam? Rambam, good.
Rabbi Moshe.
Yes.
There's a note down there that says why the Geonim chose
right. Because of the story.
Yeah, right. It's,
yeah.
Does the lion have to say berkat hamazon?
The lion has to say. He has a question. Does the lion have to say berkat hamazon after he ate the human? Right? Okay. 43. Let's see. Shulchan Aruch. Misha achal b'malkum echad tzarich levarach kaidim sheyakor mimkomo. The person eats in one place, he must say berkat hamazon before he leaves that place. That's the halacha lechatchila. You ate here, you bench here. If he left his place and he didn't bench, if he did it on purpose, he has to go back to his place and bench. And if he did berkat hamazon in the place he is, even though he's supposed to return, he did it in his place that he is yotza his chova.
Yeah.
No, on purpose. B'mezid. He went against halacha. He's supposed to go back, and he did berkat hamazon there instead. Yatzei de chavoto. He fulfills his obligation berkat hamazon. He's wrong, but he doesn't say berkat hamazon again. Now, here's the Ramah, page 146. Haga, the Ramah. V'dafka ledat harambam. This is only according to the Rambam. Aval ledat harosh, the Svirele, it holds like Beit Shammai, the ab b'shoige. Even if it's by accident, you left. Yachzerlim kamul lechatchila. B'mezid, ab b'di avad lo yatsa. Oh, so the Ramah says, not like the Rambam. He says that if you left by accident, you have to go back. and if you left on purpose and you bench, your benching did not work. Not like the Rambam says if you left on purpose, you're supposed to go back, but if you bench, it's okay. It's already yotzi the choboto. The Ramah says from the Rosh that if you left on purpose and you said Birkat Mazon was nothing. You didn't do anything. You have to go back and bench. If you left on by accident, you have to go back also. But if you bench by accident and you bench where you are, then you're yotzi. For us, no. For us, no. All right, last like the Rambam, Shulchan Aruch.
So
what brings the case of a shogeg? You say it where you were remembered. You go back to the place and you bench. Makili, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so the Shulchan Aruch says if it was in his control, it was like, let's say, emergency, and he had to leave. And he's like, I'll decided where I am, the next place where I'll be. That's okay?
So you're saying he had to leave?
It's not shakak. He didn't forget. It's just it wasn't his control. Yeah, he had to leave.
Where do you see that in the
He looked at the time and he was like, whoa, I'm not going to have time to bench. So
where do you see that in the
right after the Rema, it says if he left unintentionally according to the
unintentionally. Yeah, that means b'shoigeg. It means he didn't
right, not in my control, man.
I mean, possibly if you left without, you have to leave also. Yes, then it's going to be like a shoigeg. Yeah, because mazid is I did it on purpose. If I'm not leaving on purpose, it's considered a shoigeg. So if it's like a Hatzalah member, like you're saying, he's not leaving on purpose. It's a shoigeg. He doesn't want to leave. He needs to leave, right? Mazid is I'm leaving knowing I have to leave and I'm leaving anyway. That's amazing. Right. Which one? No, you can't say Hatzalah is amazing because he if you were given the option, he wouldn't leave. Right. Right. So it's the idea. It's not his idea to leave. It's not his intention to leave.
So these guys also intention not to leave, but if the hara pushes them.
Oh, that's already a different story. That's a different story. Okay. Where would we be without the Yetzer Hara? Okay. Good question. That's why I asked you, where would you be if there was no Yetzer Hara? Okay. One should not return. Okay, let's look at the Rambam. Mishnah Berurah, source 44. That's the Rambam. He holds if one left unintentionally, he may cite Birkat Mazon location where he remembered, even lechatchila. Right, that's the Beit Hillel. It is sufficient for us to be strict when one left willfully that he must return. But according to the Rosh, who's of the opinion that even one who left unintentionally should ideally return to his original location, we are more strict than to say that even post facto, where one already recited Birkat Mazon, he's not fulfilled his obligation. Right? That's the Ramah. The Ramah says, if you left on purpose and maybe Birkat Mazon, you weren't Yotze. You have to go back. And regarding the halacha, the Acharim agree that he need not return and recite Birkat Mazon again, even if both the leaving and the recitation were willful. So, unlike the Ramah, that's what you were saying. The Mishnah Berurah is unlike the Ramah. The Mishnah Berurah said if you left on purpose and you said Birkat Mazon in the place that you're not supposed to, he holds like the Rambam that you're Yotza. You're not going to repeat it again. He writes over here, if the right practice is to go back, except unless it's a very pressing case that you forgot, you should really go back. But if you're going to go back, you're going to miss your business deal, or you're going to miss the business meeting, whatever it is. So then you don't have to go back. You can say where you are, according to the Ashkenazim, who say even for Shogeg you have to return, but B'shat HaChag you do not have to return. Now, Shulchan Aruch says, when is all this said? Kishe'ein lo pat od, when he has no more bread. Aval im yesh lo pat od, if he has some more bread, he can eat a little bit of bread where he is, and he can say Birkat Mazon. Okay, because you remember, with foods that you have to return for the bracha achrona, even if you change a place, you don't have to make a new bracha. Remember? Shinei makam. Instead, you have to return to its place. You don't have to make a new bracha. So you can eat another piece of bread where you are. It's as if your Suda continued. And now you can make Birkat Hamazon. But you should not be hungry from the original meal. I mean, you can't eat bread once you're hungry. You have to still be full. Yes.
So within these 72 hours, minutes, he has to eat another piece of bread to cover that bread, the original bread.
It's only 72 minutes if you ate a little bit. Let's say a case that he ate full. All right, he's full. So now you have up to 6 hours as long as you still feel full. So let's say it's hour number 3. He remembers he didn't bench yet, right? So according to this, he can take out another piece of bread, eat that piece of bread
In different
location, because it's a bracha that a bracha achron is required in its place. So if Shinei Makom doesn't apply there, you can still eat, right? And he eats that piece of bread, and now you can make Birkat Hamazon.
So this connects to the original bread.
Because he's still full. An example. Just giving you an example. As long as he still feels full, that's what it says. Rak shelo yeh rav ma'achila rishon. As long as he's not hungry from the first meal. Yeah, you have up to 6 hours. Up to 6 hours, as long as you still feel full. That's the din we saw in the Shulchan Aruch. That's the Yalkut Yosef explained that. Chavovad explained that. Dav Yosef explained that. Ritzik Yosef explained that. You have up to 6 hours because that's how long digestion takes. Once 6 hours is gone, even if you still feel full, you cannot say Birkat Hamazon. The max is 6 hours. So I'm traveling. I ate at home. I'm full. I'm really full. Hey, I had shashlik. I had my non tokia. I had my lipyoshka. I am full. And goes and now I'm traveling. And now I remembered didn't say Birkat Hamazon. So I take out my handy bag, and in there I have another lipyoshka. I eat a piece of bread. Since I'm still full, I can still say Birkat Hamazon. Shinei Makom, I don't need no bracha. I ate a little piece of bread. Now I can say Birkat Hamazon because as if I continued my meal in this spot. So according to everybody, I don't have to go back now because I can eat in my spot right here. That's what the Shulchan Aruch is trying to get to. Now he said his lashon was eat a little bit of bread. He eats a little piece of bread. What's the main? What does it mean? A little piece of bread. So if you take a look, first the Mishnah Berurah says this practice of eating a small amount of bread is effective even where one intentionally leaves, and one need not recite a motzi first on what he ate previously, and even after eating bread, he recites Birkat Hamazon and covers the meal. Now me'at says the Mishnah Berurah, hainu afilu pachot mikazayit. Even if he ate less than a kazayit. The
first one?
The second meal, that second piece of bread he's eating now.
Less than kazayit.
Mishnah Berurah says less than a kazayit. Now I don't know why I didn't mark this down. I remember seeing it in here, but no. So this is the case. How much he has to eat in the second place? Okay. So what does he say here? Turn to page 206 in the Yalkut Yosef. If someone ate a meal and then purposely left the place without reciting Birkat Hamazon, intended to recite it elsewhere, he must return to the place where he ate and recite another. If he's disregarded the halacha as well and recited Birkat Hamazon in another location, he has fulfilled, right? Like the Rambam. Okay. That's the same thing. Someone ate a meal. I don't know where I saw it earlier.
Happens a lot with mazonot. Mazonot,
Okay, I'm gonna give me one more minute. If I find it, I All right, so you're gonna have to go with what it says here for now. But I do remember seeing something different. I thought I marked it down, but I didn't. I'm sorry. I'll have to go back to this. Try to find out. I thought I saw that that here in the Alka Joseph they said you must. It's that the mi'at, not like the Mishnah Brura that says less than a kazayit. But I thought I saw it said you have to have you have to have a kazayit. But now I do not see this. He doesn't bring it down. Okay, let's take a look at it. He brings down over here the Alka Joseph, source 47. Someone who ate in one place, you say Birkat Mazon in that place. Before he uproots himself to go to somewhere else. If he leaves the Leiberg and he doesn't make Birkat Mazon, Im also came if he does it on purpose, he has to go back to his place in Mivarch. If he said it where he is and didn't go back, Yatza. Maybe over here I saw it. If he does it by accident, im yesh lo od pat yachel b'makom hasheni kazayit pat v'yivarach b'makom shniskar. This is probably where I saw it. I don't know why I saw it. I thought it was not safer. Im yesh lo od pat yachel b'makom hasheni kazayit pat v'yivarach b'makom shniskar. If he remembers now, he should eat another piece of kazayit pat and make Birkat Mazon. If he doesn't have a piece of bread, then he just says it anyway. You get a bracha. So he seems to be saying in the Alka Joseph over here that the only time you can do this pot thingy is when eat another piece of bread is when you left Meshoige. Right? And Mishnah Brura says if you amazing. Mishnah Brura says even less than a kazayit. The Alka Joseph seems to be saying it's only when it's a shogeg and it's a kazayit. So it seems to be a machloket there. Okay? So this eating a second piece of bread, when does it apply? According to Mishnah Brura, it applies even if you left on purpose, you can do that. According to Alka Joseph, only if you left by accident, you can do that. And how much it has to be, kazayit or not. Mishnah Brura says last week kazayit. Yeah. Polchei drachim, that was your right. That was your initial. That's your way of eating. That's different. Since that's your derech of achila, then that's fine. This wasn't a derech achila. You ate in one place, and now you left to go somewhere else. Very good question.
Every morning we eat English and French. Well, I eat breakfast.
We're gonna get into there next. That's in the next section.
The train is the makom.
Right. Is that no? So his question is my train the makom, or I'm considered moving the whole time so I can get off the train and say Birkat Mazon? Do I have to make Birkat Mazon on the train, or do I have to make, or can I make Birkat Mazon off the train?
I said in the car when I park my work. Because I finished there.
See, so you're all saying good. This is gonna come up. It's gonna come up. We're almost there. So it's gonna come up. What time is it already? Oh wow, later than I thought. Okay, see if we can move a little faster over here. Proper manner to recite Birkat Mazon. Page 149. The person has to hear what he's saying. He has to move his lips. It's like davening. You can't say Birkat Mazon with your eyes. You have to say Birkat Mazon, moving your lips. You should better hear them. You can't even answer someone back unless it's allowed during Shmoneh Esrei. Whatever halacha is for Shema and Shmoneh Esrei, that's the halacha for Birkat Mazon. It's on a higher level, right? Yeah, I believe in the Alka Joseph he says like the dine of Shema, but here it says Tefillah. Mishnah Brura, Shedine Ketefillah, She'ein Sholim Meishim Klal, V'Hatam, the Metzinu Shechmir Chacham and Birkat Mazon She'ein Mivarach El Welcome Echad Ketefillah. It's just like davening. You daven in one spot, right? You don't walk on daven. Birkat Mazon also has to be in one spot. La Fuki Kriyashma, and this is not like Kriyashma. Yachal Amr b'Mahalach min Pasuk Rishon ve'Elech ve'Shem me'alav avecha. Right? We hold the halacha. You can say the first bracha. You stop. Say the first Shema Yisrael Shem Hashem Shem Echad Baruch Shem Kol Shalom V'Ed, and then you can walk and continue saying the rest. Right? That's what we hold halacha l'maisa. So it's not like Shema. Birkat Hamazon, you have to say everything sitting. Everything sitting has to be said. In the morning, you should be sitting while you say Shema, but only the first line requires you to stand still. The rest of it could be said already walking, already moving around, stuff like that. Now, better always to sit for everything. Talking about someone that has to move, right? So, for example, this happens for me. Let's say I'm leaving my house and I'm saying Birkat HaShachar, right? And I know by the time I get to shul, it's going to already be almost time for Zman Kriyas Shema. So I'm walking on the street and I want to say Kriyas Shema. So what do? Stop for a second, or whatever it is. Long takes Shema Yisrael Hashem the Kingdom Hashem Echad Baruch Shem Kol Shalom V'Ed, and then you can continue to walk and say the rest of Kriyas Shema. Okay, fine. Now. We learned in a Braita, someone was eating while walking, he stopped and stands to say Birkat Hamazon. When he is eating standing, he has to sit to say Birkat Hamazon. If he's reclining and eating, he sits and says Birkat Hamazon. And halacha v'kulu yoshim mevarich, that he should sit and say Birkat Hamazon. The Tosfot has an interesting idea. He says the word v'savata, right? Birkat Hamazon deraita ichmir bali ot yoshim mevarich sharei asar dvar nemer boy mashein kain mishar brachot v'hu noitrikin v'achalta v'savata. The word v'savata, shav 8, shav 8. So sit now. Sit now, shave, sit. Right now, make Birkat Hamazon. Mipi, who said this? What's his name? Moshe Albert. I think Albert's already a Jewish name. It's in Tosfot. Right? Moshe Albert. But Moshe Albert said that the word V'savata can be read Shev 8. You have to sit now. So you sit and you say Birkat Hamazon. Says the Shulchan Aruch, Tzarich Leisha B'Shash Mevarich, Beinim Hayah L'Beito Kishachol, or Amid Mesav. Whether he was eating while walking, whether he was eating while standing or reclining, you have to sit. Kishmaki Levarich Tzarich L'Yeshev, Kidei Sheyachol L'Chaven Yoter, in order to have better kavana. The Gav Lo Yemesav Shuderach Gaiva. You can't recline in Birkat Hamazon like this, because that's Gaiva. That's not respect. You're saying to Hashem, thank you. Eliyeshev Be'emo. You should sit with fear. So I remember in yeshiva, the Rebbeim, they used to put on their hats and jackets while saying Birkat Hamazon, like you're davening. All right? Like you're davening. So if you don't wear a hat, at least your jacket you have with you, you put it on. If you don't have your jacket with you, at least you straighten up. Fix yourself up. You're about to daven to Hashem. You're saying Birkat Hamazon, do it right. The person should take it seriously. The Ramah adds, not just the person who's benching, but everyone who's listening to the benching, right? Especially in the olden days when they were yotza through the benching, they also have to sit. But he says, Miriam laws who came, but they didn't do this. I feel be'erich mahalach. Even if someone benched while walking, b'di avad yatsa, b'di avani is yatsa. Even though you're supposed to sit and do it right, but if you were walking, it's okay. You're still yatsa. Now, Shulchan Aruch says, if you were eating and walking while eating, so then you don't have to sit and say Birkat Hamazon, because now you're holchei drachem. That's your way of eating. Because you're not going to be able to calm down. You're eating, walking, because you have to get from point A to point B. If not, I have to take 5 minutes to Birkat Hamazon and sit down. I'm not going to be able to have kavanah anyway. So say it while walking. Says the Mishnah Berurah, that's what the Mishnah says. He continues to go and he says Birkat Hamazon, If a person ate while sitting, he must say Birkat Hamazon while sitting. So this might play into your train, right? If I was eating there while sitting, I'm still sitting there. But then your question is maybe I'm still moving, right? So let's see over here. The Piskei Tshuvot. He writes, source 56, by the way, is a copy of source 55. They made a mistake and printed it twice. So now they have the source 57 on page 152. He writes, Shulchan Aruch writes, the one who was riding in a wagon or an animal was considered to be one who is traveling. So like what you were saying, Rapinchas, right? Okay. But it goes further. Read it further. What is he saying there? Therefore, we can infer that a driver must recite brachot on the food as those thanks and praise and he doesn't have to stop his car. Right. But he's saying even a bigger chiddush. Look, therefore we can infer that a driver may recite brachot on the food and those of thanks, right? Birkat Hamazon, and praise in transit, and he's not required to stop. This is what Piskei Tshuvot says. So Piskei Tshuvot says it all depends what you're doing. If you are driving while eating, then you can drive and say Birkat Hamazon. If you were stopped, then you have to say Birkat Hamazon while stopped. Now, the Alka Yosef argues with this. Passenger for sure. He's fine. Because he's not doing the driving. Right? Because you can't have the kavana is less while you're driving. The Alka Yosef argues with this. People who have eaten a meal while seated in a vehicle traveling down the road may likewise recite Birkat Hamazon while they continue on their way. The driver, however, argues with the Piskei Tshuvot, may not recite it while driving. He must park his vehicle or exchange places with the passenger and then recite Birkat Hamazon with proper concentration. This all goes back to like tefillah, where you can't do it while driving because you can't have enough kavanah, right? So same thing with Birkat Hamazon. Piskei Tshuvot seems to be saying because eating, you can eat while you're driving. You say Birkat Rishonot, so you can say Birkat Achronot. But the Alka Yosef doesn't agree to that. What time is it? Okay, so we're up to over here. We'll stop here for today. As Hashem, we'll continue next time. We have one more section in Birkat Hamazon. I wish we would finish it today, but it's okay. We'll do it next time. It's a nice Rabbi Akiva Eger, a little bit of lumdus. So as Hashem, next time we will continue with that. All right, Yashar Koach L'Kulam, Shavua Tov. Zaku Baruch.
Thank you.
Laila Tov.